Here we are in the garden. It's been rainy today. You can see my tomatoes are still laying down. I've already harvested most of what was ripe today. There's some more that'll be ripe by the end of the day, like some of these Romas right here. These are some good, delicious tomatoes. I'll tell you, this over here, these little stink bug on one of my Costelutos. Get on. Once again, I've already picked all the really ripe ones. Here's one that's almost ripe. These are my favorite tomato for this year. These are really gnarly looking, but they were really attractive tomatoes overall, and they're very prolific. I got a bunch of these coming in still. There's some right there, some green ones. Wonderful tomato. Beefsteaks over here. These Royal Hillbillies are starting to change color, and I'm looking forward to having some of these. As bugs get into some of them, I leave them there. The hopes are that the bugs will stay on this one and not go to these others around here. They're coming in, ripening up pretty nice. These are going to be some nice big beefsteaks. These are my red Sicilians. They're scalloped as well, just like the Costeluto Florentinos. I should have a couple of these ready. These are heavy producers too. These are slow though. These were the plants that had the curled leaves, and they still, even though they're producing fruit, still have some leaf curl. But it didn't seem to affect them. They're just a rather slow producer. But there we are. Let's go take a look in the kitchen at some of these and see what they taste like, what they look like. Okay, well, let's take a look at some of these Roma tomatoes. They've been producing about 5 to 8 pounds a day for me between the Martinos and the standard Romas. And these are very delicious. Look how beautiful these tomatoes are. They're just like store-bought almost. There's a lot of variety in shape though, and you notice I had blossom end raw. You can use those. Don't just throw them out. Just take and slice the end off, and you can see inside you've got a perfect tomato. I've been juicing these, and they're very delicious. Just slice that end off. Now, some of them are tiny, some are big, but they all ripen up real nice. Again, there's two different kinds I'm growing. In my right hand, I have your standard Roma tomato. It's kind of a plum shape. It's just your standard Roma. It's an heirloom variety, and this other is the Martino's Roma. They're a bit smaller, and they have more of a pear shape to them. So these are my Romas. Again, blossom end rot. Don't let it discourage you. Just slice that end off, and you're good to go. And put it in a salad, make sauce out of it, throw it in your juicer, whatever you use Roma tomatoes for. They're great. I love these wonderful tomatoes. 5 to 8 pounds a day. You can see that there's a lot of the blossom end rot spread throughout. I'd say about a quarter of them have blossom end rot, but still, that's a lot of tomatoes. I mean, if I wasn't juicing, I'd be making sauce. If I didn't make sauce, I don't know what I'd be giving these away to friends. Let's take a look now at my Costeluto Florentinos. Costeluto Florentino is a very beautiful tomato, probably my favorite one this year. This tomato I thought would be, I'd risk, growing one of those gnarly, strange-looking heirlooms, and I didn't think it would produce that well, or I thought it might get disease-ridden. But this has been a heavy producer. It's a really amazing little tomato. They're more of a paste and sauce tomato, though they're pretty tasty. But take a look at these guys. They have these ridges, these what do you call them? Scallops. They're like a pumpkin. And some of them get really weird looking. The bottom has this little navel type thing on it, and some rough skin there. That might put some folks off, but no, I just juiced the things. Let's take a look inside. When you slice them up, you get a good mix of meat to juice and seed. It's a very nice tomato. This is a lovely, beautiful tomato, man. I think these things are fantastic. And like I said, though they're kind of a paste tomato, they're good to eat. I like to juice them, and all of these will be going into my juicer. Here I've got some old Italians now, little bugs eating my packet out in the garage. But old Italian, now I thought these would be bigger, but they're still very nice tomatoes. Perfectly round almost, very beautiful. These are standard slicing tomatoes. They're called beefsteaks, but they're not that big. At least mine aren't. Now early on I had some scarring. Probably from insect damage, but they heal up pretty well, and it's not deep. So these have been really resistant to the insects. I haven't lost many of these. As you can see, that doesn't go deep at all. But these are your standard slicing tomato. I'm sure they'd be great for paste or for sauce or whatever, but they're also just standard slicing tomatoes that you might put on a hamburger. And they're very good. They've got a nice a nice balance of tart and sweet. Very good tomato. This is the Rosso Siciliano. It's another scalloped tomato. It's got the scallops like the Costeluto Florentino, but a little more round. And again, this is the slow one. This is the one that was taking a long time. I got a lot of fruit on the plant, but this is the only one that's been ripened so far. Let's see what it looks like inside. It's a little less dense than the Costeluto Florentino. It's got a little more juice in there. The network's not as fine. Nice tomato though. Well, there's a look at some of the tomatoes that are ripening in the garden. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll review the other ones when they ripen up and I get a chance to taste them. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.